cigars and cigarettes. And based on our consultation and information, these products are experiencing high level of illicit trade. And as we all know, illicit trade goes under the radar of any government regulation or any government enforcement agency. And that creates a lot of health problems as well as foregone revenue or leakage in our revenue collection. So we want to focus on that for today's hearing, but we will expand the hearing to the other products as we go along. So today, like I said, we'll be focusing on tobacco products and tobacco-related products. And we want to capture in today's hearing the leakages that is happening in our shores because of illicit trade. And we also want to hear from our resource persons solutions and ways forward in order to address these leakages in foregone revenues and also to address illicit trade. With that, we will start off with a snapshot on where we are in terms of excise tax collection. And we want to start off with our government agencies, namely the DOF/BIR, just to give us a snapshot on how much excise tax are we collecting in relation to these products, and also what are their analysis, because we also saw that collection in relation to excise tax on tobacco products has been going down for the last 2 years. So we want to also understand from the BIR their analysis on why this phenomenon on going down, or this decreasing trend in terms of revenue. So we call on Deputy Commissioner Larry Barcelo for the BIR's presentation, and after that we'll call on the Bureau of Customs, being another revenue collecting agency. And once the DOF arrives, we'll also request the DOF to give us their presentation.
Good morning, Your Honors, and to all other resource speakers. We actually submitted the requested data information to the committee, Your Honor, about the collections, the excise tax collections on tobacco products, vapor products, and other heated tobacco products. And I will request my colleague, Etzrey Dondon Galera of the Excise Lodge Taxpayer Service to provide the details on the data, Your Honor, especially on the collections of excise tax on these products. Sir Don.
We recognize Mr. Galera.
Good morning, Your Honor. Good morning to all attendees here. For the excise tax collections from 2010 to 2024, it was attached in our reply as Annex A. For 2010, the collection is 31 billion. In 2011, it's 25.9 billion. In 2012, it's 32.7 billion. In 2013, it's 69.7 billion. In 2014, it's 82.7 billion. In 2015, it's 99.5. In 2016, it's 99.5. 2017, there's an uptick. The collection is 125.9 billion. In 2018, it increased to 136.03 billion. In 2019, it's 147.45 billion. In 2020, it's 149.7 billion. In 2021, it's 176.48 billion. In 2022, it's 160.4 billion. In 2023, it's 134.91 billion. So there is a decrease and in 2024, the tentative collection as of December is 134 billion, Your Honor.
This includes tobacco, heated tobacco products, as well as vapor products.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, these are just the products that I mentioned during my opening speech.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And do you have any analysis? Because this is also the trend we saw that starting from 2021 or starting from 2022, revenue has been decreasing for the last since 2022. So any analysis from the BIR on why revenue has been decreasing?
One of the reasons why there was a decrease from excise to tax collection is the change in consumption pattern of those smokers from using the traditional tobacco or cigarette to vape. And this was shown in a survey conducted by FNRI. And another one is, of course, illicit trade, Your Honor. Those are the main reasons why there is a decrease from the collection of excise taxes from these products, Your Honor, particularly cigarettes, Your Honor.
Have you so the BIR have detected illicit trade happening in our country and concluded that one of the reasons for the decline in revenues is due to illicit trade, aside from what you said, no, shift in consumption pattern and the other researches by FNRI. But illicit trade is a major component.
This is one of our observations, Your Honor.
And go ahead.
Actually, we've conducted a lot of enforcement activities starting 2022, Your Honor, up to last year, Your Honor. And there were we've conducted a lot of enforcement activities, Your Honor, against this illicit trade, cigarettes and vapor products.
Let's break it down one by one. Director Don.
Yes, Your Honor.
For illicit trade, how much illicit trade or what's the universe of illicit trade have you estimated? I know it's a very difficult question to answer. No? There's no, it's illicit trade. It goes under the radar. But there must be some estimates or some science in terms of estimating how much illicit trade is happening in our country from the point of view of our tax authority, and how much foregone revenue have you estimated because of this illicit trade?
From the part of the BIR, Your Honor, we do not have an official data on this aspect, Your Honor.
But do you have any estimates?
What we have, Your Honor, is yung mga nahuli lang namin, Your Honor. Yung dami ng nahuli namin, cigarettes and vapor products.
And how many I know that the BIR, I see in the news reports. In fact, I have a summary of the news reports. How many, just on 2024 alone, how many enforcement activities have you conducted?
It is attached in Annex C in our reply, Your Honor. In 2024, Your Honor, we've conducted 141 enforcement activities against vapor products, and we have raided large-scale manufacturers of illicit cigarettes. One in Clark and in Bulacan, and another one in Cabanatuan, Your Honor.
So here on our screen, from January to September 2024, the total number of enforcement activities amounts to 141
Yes, Your
times or 141 raids. Tama ba? Can I call that raids?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then for October to November, another 847. Is that correct?
Uh, this was because in starting October to October, Your Honor, we have conducted a weekly visitation on retailers of vapor products, Your Honor.
Ah, okay.
And
These
it
are
was counted.
visitation.
Yes, Your
But
Honor.
only raids. How many raids have you for January to September is 141 raids yan, di ba?
Yes,
These
Your
are
Honor.
the raids that you have conducted. But for October, November 2024, the 847 includes the raids or just visitation activities?
Visitation activities, Your Honor.
Okay, so it's only
For
so-
retailers of vapor
Okay.
products, Your Honor.
so but even in just for 2024, 1 year alone, less than a year actually, you conducted 141 raids.
Most of these, Your Honor, are against vapor products, but we've conducted large-scale raids in Clark, Pampanga, and one in Bulacan, and another one in Cabanatuan, Your Honor.
Okay. But if you can see the trend, if this presentation is accurate, 2022, there's one raid. 2023, there's 31 raid, and then just for 2024, last year, the raids increased almost fivefolds.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is this an indication that illicit trade is flourishing for both vapor products and also cigarette products?
Based on observation, Your Honor, yes, Your Honor.
So they're becoming more brazen, in other words.
Based on our observations, Your Honor, they even use online platforms before, Your Honor, during these years.
To harapan in pagbebenta, in other words.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So hindi sila natatakot sa gobyerno. Tama ba, Director? No, because if you look at the numbers, just 1 year alone, it decreased almost fivefold.
Ganun na nga po siguro, Your Honor.
Okay. And how many of these 141 are vapor products, and how many of that are cigarette products?
The one we've presented, Your Honor, is just for vapor products, Your Honor. The 141. And the ones I mentioned, the 3 raids that we've conducted, it's against illicit cigarette, Your Honor. In the presentation, Your Honor, it's only about vapor products.
This
Your
is only for vapor.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you add how many raids have you conducted for cigarettes?
For cigarettes, Your Honor, we've done 1, 2, 3, Your Honor. One in Clark, Pampanga, in Bulacan, and then in Cabanatuan City, Your Honor. These are manufacturers, Your Honor.
Okay. And in terms of, for 141 plus 3.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, but I'm sure the value is much different, no?
Yes, Your
3 might be in terms of value might surpass the 141, no? I think.
Yes, Your Honor.
So I'll go to that. How much is the value of that 141? How much the value of the products, and how much is supposed to be the taxes that they should be paying in terms of excise lang tayo muna.
Yes, Your Honor.
So
For
that is it-
2024, Your Honor, for vapor products, Your Honor, it's 64,164,000. Yung basic tax supposedly coming from this illicit vapor products, Your Honor. For cigarette, Your Honor, as of November 30, 2024, sa 2024 lang, Your Honor, it's 342 million 407,000 pesos, Your Honor.
So let me just clarify, the one for one, the equivalent in terms of tax due is
64, Your Honor.
64 million.
Yes, Your Honor.
But the three raids that you conducted
It's
for cigarettes
342, Your Honor.
is 342 million
Yes, Your Honor.
in terms of tax due. No?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is excise.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. So this is only for we're talking about only for 1 year. In fact, if can you flash this? We compiled just in 2020 2024 alone. Can you flash this? We have a compilation of this is just for news reports, no? And just for 2024 alone, the value of articles seized by the different enforcement agencies, for example, the BOC, the BIR, even the PNP, amounts to 85.2 billion pesos. No? I'll just flash this in a while. No? So in other words, this is just purely on news reports. We just compiled it, we compute the value. Just on the value of, just on the raids conducted through news reports, it's already 85.2 billion pesos in terms of value of products. Of course, that's not the same with the tax amount that you should be paying. But officially, based on your report, Director, just on 2024 alone, 342 million in terms of tax leakages are from cigarettes and 64 million are from vapor products. And for vapor products, because I saw the amount, the raids are quite parang kalahating taon nagre-raid na lang kayo, no? 141 eh. So what type of illicit trade have you detected in terms of vapor products with that 141? What are the common illicit trade?
Karamihan kasi ng etong sa 141, Your Honor, ito yung mga hindi bayad yung excise tax. For vapor products, Your Honor, we've started requiring them to have tax stamps starting June of 2024. Kaya nag-intensify yung operations natin, Your Honor, starting November para makita if those are yung mga retailers compliant dun sa requirement ng tax stamps, Your Honor.
Mga walang tax stamps,
Yes, Your Honor.
meaning they haven't paid their taxes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And what happened to the products? Do you confiscate them?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you confiscated all of these products.
Yung mga products na yun, Your
And
Honor.
did you file cases against?
We are still in the process of yung pagpa-file ng kaso, Your Honor.
But you will be filing.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm just focusing on the 141. How about the three raids that you conducted in Clark, Bulacan, and Cabanatuan? What type of illicit trade did you detect with those raids?
Ito, Your Honor, ito yung mga nagmamanufacture ng sigarilyo na walang permit from us, Your Honor. So, yung presumption dito, Your Honor, illicit yung mga sigarilyo nila.
Nagmamanufacture sila mismo? May makina
Yes,
sila?
Your Honor. May mga makina, Your Honor.
Okay. Pero hindi sila registered with the BIR?
Hindi registered with the BIR.
Okay.
Your
Are
Honor.
they at least incorporated? Their corporations?
Yung iba, Your Honor,
Yung iba may incorporation,
Your
but not registered with the BIR.
hindi sila registered as cigarette manufacturers, Your Honor.
Okay. Can you give us the name of these corporations? The Clark, Bulacan, and Cabanatuan?
As of now, Your Honor, hindi kasama sa report. Pwede bang we can submit it later, Your
Okay.
Honor.
And because we want to also follow up on the case filing against those entities, and especially the shareholders of those entities.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oo. All right. Sige, well, I'll come back to the BIR later on, but we'll go to the DOF, Attorney Nina. Any comments on this matter?
For the Department of Finance, Your Honor, first of all, good morning. For the Department of Finance, through the Revenue Operations Group, have been monitoring the enforcement activities of both the BIR and the BOC on the matter, Your Honor. And any legislation that would be helpful in combating illicit trade, both for tobacco products and vapor products, would be very welcome. The Secretary of Finance has supported a measure filed in the House of Representatives at the Committee on Ways and Means there. It is on a track and trace system, as well as on some items on tax policy as regards the rates of certain products, vapor products, and on proposed moratorium, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
But do you have any, from the point of view of, but do you agree that there are illicit trade happening in our country?
The Department of Finance has ever since seen the existence of illicit trade in the Philippines.
And how damaging is this illicit trade to our revenue collection, based on your analysis?
As of this moment, Your Honor, we are looking at a number of data to determine the magnitude. We do have some preliminary estimates, but we cannot release it yet, Your Honor. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
later on we'll ask the private stakeholders. I think if there's one entity or there are entities who are concerned about illicit trade, it will be the business sector, because that directly hampers their operation, directly hampers their profit margin, as well as directly hampers everything, no, your business model as well, no. So later on we'll shift our attention to the private stakeholders so they can enlighten us. But what I want to drive at is, since the DOF, the BIR recognizes that there is illicit trade happening in our country, we should also be knowledgeable on the damage that it is creating. Definitely, the damage is not limited to revenue collection. It's also damaging our health, no? Because this illicit trade goes under the radar, no? So, but I want to hear from the DOF and the BIR and our enforcement groups that how big is this damage? Is this something that we have to be alarmed about, or is it negligible that we can just, keep our eyes closed and hayaan na lang natin, no? That's what I want to understand today, no? And we can only proceed to ways forward and solution finding if we know the gravity of that damage. Definitely there is, no? And I'll show you later on that there is damage, but I want to know the quantity of that damage, and how do we address those issues as we move forward. I think the first damage is how much revenue are we losing from illicit trade?
Right now, Your Honor, we don't have the computations yet. We are finalizing those. But as of now, we only have the amounts from the enforcement that have been done by the BOC and the BIR, Your Honor.
But definitely there is, no? Because as the BIR already stated earlier, 342 million alone in 2024 from cigarettes, and then 64 million from vapor products. Again, that's 2024 alone. We're not talking about, we're not talking about 2023 and beyond, no. So just 1 year, and these are just the raids that they have conducted. We're not talking about those that are still the illicit trade that are still flourishing outside of this room. So I want to understand from the DOF, because I would expect that you have looked at this and studied this very carefully and come up with estimates. How big is the revenue, foregone revenue or revenue loss due to illicit trade? So that's what I want to understand.
As of now, sir, our computations have not been finalized. We are looking at some other data. Some were presented at the House hearings, sir, and we're looking at those as well as on other sources, sir.
Well, I hope you take a look at this, Attorney Nina and DOF. And later, I've seen the studies of our private sector groups. Again, there are numbers, and I am imploring on the DOF to take this seriously and already study this. And as there's also, and later on, we'll show you later on, there's also a theory that as excise taxes go up, illicit trade also will flourish. But that is a theory that we have to study very carefully. No? And as we go along every year, excise taxes goes up by about 5%. No? So we need to, the DOF, BIR, and BOC needs to study this very carefully, because we don't want a scenario wherein the illicit trade will be bigger than the legal entities who are selling these products. So please study this carefully and submit to the committee those studies as we go along. Right. Next is the BOC, the Bureau of Customs.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. We were requested to submit data on a summary of annual seizures of tobacco and paper products. So we submitted data for years 2020 until 2024, which are as follows. For 2020, the number of seizures for tobacco and vapor products by the Bureau of Customs.
Is this the one? Is this the data?
No, Your Honor. We submitted a summary, Your Honor.
Can we, Comsec, can we show the summary?
Yes,
Is it-
that's-
okay,
that's the
sige.
data,
All right.
Your Honor.
Yeah, it's hard to follow kasi with numbers, so we need some visuals so that we can all be on the same page.
So for 2020, Your Honor, that's correct. That's 2004 with an estimated value of 5.774 billion pesos. For 2021, the Bureau of Customs had 131 seizures for tobacco and vapor products, amounting to 1.715 billion pesos. For 2022, the seizure is 190 seizure cases, both for tobacco and vapor products, with an estimated value of 1.129 billion pesos. For 2023, that's 255, with an estimated value of 3.823. I will update, however, Your Honor, our figures for 2024, because I think the submitted figures is incorrect. Our figure actually is 318 seizures, 318. And the estimated value now, as of December 2024, is 9.194 billion pesos.
Can you define, so that everyone will be, again, on the same page, can you define seizures in this context?
Seizures, Your Honor, this comprises of all enforcement operations by the Bureau of Customs. So it comprises of serving our letters of authority, meaning we exercised our visitorial powers and conducted some raids with warehouses where we gathered information, derogatory information that these warehouses contained illicit tobacco products and vapor products. Also contained in this number our seizures or apprehensions at our ports for smuggling, whether it be technical or outright smuggling. And also data coming from seizures conducted in the Bureau of Customs for areas within the Philippine territory which are susceptible to outright smuggling. Meaning, Your Honor, these are open sea apprehensions and are not apprehensions through our formal ports.
But these are imported products, no?
Yes,
You
Your Honor,
focus
these are
on imported products.
products.
So, Comsec, can we update this table? I heard earlier that the 2024, the correct figure is 318 in terms of seizures and about
9
9 billion in terms of value.
yes, Your Honor. Almost 9.2, Your Honor.
9.2 in terms of value. Comsec, can we update? Kahit So just again by going through the BOC's number, in 2024, if you see the trend from 2022, 2023, 2024 is going up, no? And in terms of value is also going up, no? And how many of those reads just in 2024, the 318, how many of those are cigarettes and how many of those are vapor products?
About 90 of those seizures, Your Honor, are for vapor products, and about 228 are tobacco products.
228
28
are
Mr. Chair.
tobacco products. And what is the for the tobacco products that you conducted raids? What are these smuggled cigarettes? What type of illicit trade have you detected with these products?
These are smuggled cigarettes, Your Honor. Majority of which are smuggled cigarettes. Of course, there are raw tobacco products, but the majority of the seizures are cigarettes in cigarette form, and mostly coming from the southern part of the Philippines, Your Honor.
Okay, and so these are just plain and simple smuggled products,
Yes, Your Honor.
mostly detected in the southern part, which is Mindanao,
Yes, Your Honor.
mostly. And also the value is going up, no? From 1.1 billion in 2022, 3.8 in 2023, and then 9 billion, 9.2 billion in 2024. So the same trend we are seeing with the BIR, no? That the number of seizures or number of raids in the case of BIR and the value of those raids are also going up. So for both enforcement agencies, the BIR and the BOC, both are experiencing increased number of raids and seizures. And is that because of the reports are also increasing? The phenomenon and also the reports of illicit trade is also increasing for the last 2-3 years?
Well, Your Honor, if you look at how taxation works for these products, well, the increase in excise taxes was made gradually or throughout the years. So I think the increase can be related to the financial benefit that smugglers may have when they do smuggling. Meaning, the higher the excise tax over the years, that means that if they do smuggling, they're able to escape payment of higher taxes. So I think that's for us in the Bureau of Customs. That's always been one of the things that we look out for. The higher the incentive for smuggling, the higher the product that particular product we usually guard against.
I'll go to that later on. I think that's also one of the theories that we want to expound on. But the increased amount of seizures that you've conducted, does it mean that you also get a lot more reports right now of illicit trade?
More than that, Your Honor, we've also beefed up our intelligence gathering. I think the industry representatives here can attest that the Bureau of Customs has been coordinating with them vigorously for exchange of intelligence information. We've also, the Deputy Commissioner for Intelligence is here. They've also beefed up our regional intelligence coordination with countries that would usually be the source of these illicit products. So aside from information that we get, the increase of information that we get, we've also beefed up our enforcement activities against these products. Your Honor.
And in your analysis, how come from 2023, 2024, there's a threefold increase in terms of value? Meaning I would assume the volume of illicit products is bigger in 2024 because the value is bigger.
It's 318 actually, Your Honor, in 2024.
Correct.
The number of seizures.
But if you look at the value, it's almost 9 billion.
Yes.
No, compared to 2023. So that's threefolds. No, but if you look at the seizure, if you just double the seizure, it should only be maybe 6 billion, 7 billion. But this one is almost 9 billion.
Again, because I think, Your
So
Honor,
the amounts are bigger.
the amounts are bigger and the taxes are bigger.
Mm.
So if you look at the total landed cost where we compute our estimated value, there's a really big increase yearly based on the excise taxes that should have been paid for these products.
All right. Thank you for that. And I'll go back to the DOF. I think the DOF should already press the alarm button, Attorney Nina, and already take a look at this phenomenon happening in our country, in our shores. Just for the last 2 years, the number of raids and seizures by both enforcement agencies has been going up. The quantity and the value also is going up. And if we don't focus our attention on this, we'll end up with a scenario wherein the illicit trade might be bigger than the legal activities. And we want to press on the DOF to already take a look at this problem and give us solutions, recommend to us what solutions we should be undertaken in order to curb this illicit trade. So again, please take a look at this problem, Department of Finance. Because of illicit trade, I mentioned earlier, the damage is not only in terms of revenue collection, but in terms of health. And we want to hear from the DOH, their comments on illicit trade, and also some basic numbers, whether smoking prevalence have been increasing, decreasing. Just give us a snapshot of where we are in terms of tobacco products and also illicit trade. We call on Yusek Ronquillo, Kenneth Ronquillo of the Department of Health.
Thank you very much, and good morning, Chair. Well, first of all, I'd like to provide some data on the study done by the Global Adult Tobacco Survey, the Youth and the National Nutrition Survey. In general trends, more adults tried to quit smoking because of higher prices of cigarettes, from 55.5% in 2015 to 68% in 2021. Tobacco use among adults fell by a third, from 29.7% in 2009 to 19.5% in 2021. Current smoking among adults also fell by a third, from 28.2% in 2009 to 18.5% in 2021. Among the vulnerable population, the drop was more pronounced. Current smoking among women decreased by more than half, from 9% in 2009 to 3.7% in 2021. And the current smoking among youth aged 13 to 15 years old also fell by 40%, from 17.5% in 2007 to 10% in 2019. The current smoking among adolescents aged 10 to 19 years old fell by 60% from 9.1% in 2008 to 3.7% in 2019 and expanded National Nutrition Survey. And this trend is also seen in a number of tax-paid tobacco removals, Mr. Chair.
And how is this illicit trade? We can all detect. I think after hearing the BIR and the BOC, we are all in agreement that illicit trade is happening. These are only the seizures and the raids that they have conducted. We don't know still how many of these illicit products are out there in the market. So, and because it's happening, what is the impact of these illicit products to our to public health and to the health of our constituents, based on the analysis of the Department of Health?
If you allow, Mr. Chair, we have a position paper that we'll read.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
Well, the Department of Health supports the intent of the proposed Senate resolutions as they seek an inquiry into illicit trade on excisable products. We support the Senate in the exercise of its oversight powers to ensure that implementation is faithful to the spirit and letter of the law, as deficiencies may lead to higher health risks as well as lower revenues affecting financing for universal health care. Illicit trade undermines landmark tobacco control policies such as the Sin Tax Reform Law and the Graphic Health Warnings Law. Moreover, the added presence of illegal cigarettes and vape products in the market poses more significant health risks due to greater population exposure to these products that go against the constitutional right of health. Altogether, they contravene the WHO Framework Convention on Tobacco Control, a treaty signed by the Philippines on September 23, 2003, which was later on unanimously concurred in the ratification by the Senate through Resolution number 24, adopted on April 25, 2005. No less than the Supreme Court has also stated that being a party to the WHO FCTC, the Philippines committed to implement tobacco control measures such as price and tax policies. The Department of Health supports the proposed inquiry as it would provide a venue to identify the needed synergistic actions among concerned government agencies in the executive branch and also non-government stakeholders to enable stronger enforcement of existing and established policies to combat illicit trade. In consideration of the aforementioned, the Department of Health offers the following recommendations for any other legislative measures that may be introduced on this matter. First, to continue with and strengthen the implementation of excise tax measures already in force. Second, to include violations of Republic Act number 10643 or the Graphic Health Warnings Law in the definition of illicit trade and covered products. Citizen participation means any person may file a complaint and or report violations to and any member agency of the Anti-Illicit Trade Council with evidentiary support. This is respectfully submitted, Mr. Chair.
And just for the information,
It is attributed to health, Mr. Chair.
correct. So in other words, for tobacco products, 50% of the total excise tax collection is allocated to different health programs, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So based on the law, 50% goes to different health programs, If you break down that 50%, 80% goes to PhilHealth, and then 20% shall be allocated nationwide based on political and district subdivision for medical assistance, the health facilities enhancement program, the annual requirements of which shall be determined by the Department of Health. So in other words, the bigger the collection, the more allocation we can give to different health programs. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
So it's to our interest to make sure that the collection is accurate, and if possible, it will be maintained or even go up. Is that correct?
Correct, Mr.
Oo.
Chair.
And then for heated tobacco products, 100% of the total revenue collected from excise tax on heated tobacco products and vapor products shall be allocated also to various health programs. 60% of which will go to RA 11223 or the Universal Healthcare Law. 20% shall be allocated nationwide based on political and district subdivisions for medical assistance and the HFEP or the Health Facilities Enhancement Program. And then 20% will go to SDGs. So in other words, for vapor products also, the excise tax being collected there will also be distributed to various health programs. Tama ba?
Yes.
All right. So again, no, so it's to our interest that we see correct payment of excise taxes because it goes directly to various health programs. Having said that, on the problem of illicit trade, what damage or what impact can it do to our to public health and to the health of our constituents? Based on your analysis, because the context here is illicit trade, smuggled cigarettes is available in the market, and our constituents are buying that. So based on your analysis, what have you seen that is happening on our shores in our country?
Well, in general terms, Mr. Chair, it will decrease the attributions to the programs that has been mentioned earlier, and thus health outcomes will not be as good as we have at current.
Is smoking, because you mentioned, I saw the GATS report, and you mentioned that overall smoke prevalence of tobacco use has gone down from 29 to 19%. No, but this is from 2009, 2015 to 2021. Do we have any data after 2021? Most preferably on a year-to-year basis?
Mr. Chair, that's the latest study. The next GATS will be in 2026, as the study is done every 5 years.
But do you have any in-house study that monitors smoking prevalence?
Well, there's a current study, Mr. Chair, done by the FNRI, and shows the percentage of current users of various tobacco and nicotine products among adults 20 to 59. It's also shown decreases in as a general trend, Mr. Chair.
Sorry, can you repeat that again, Yusek?
So the latest study that we have is done by the FNRI, which shows percentages of current users of various tobacco and nicotine products among adults 20 to 59 years old. from 2018, 2019 to 23. And as a general trend, there's been a decrease in the use of these products.
Increase,
Decrease, sir.
decrease. These are vapor products, you mean?
Tobacco and nicotine products, Mr. Chair.
Tobacco and nicotine. And so what is the prevalence of that? What is the tobacco use prevalence? Because hanggang 2021 lang tayo eh. And if you look at my point of the matter, why am I driving this? If you see the trend of illicit trade, it picked up after 2022, more or less. I'm sure it's been happening prior to that, no? But I think the intensity went up around 2022, 2023, 2024. So what I'm driving at is, has this impacted the smoking habits of our constituents? I want to detect that from the standpoint of DOH. Because illicit trade is happening, illicit products are there for sure. It's growing. I think that's established by the BIR and the BOC. But is it already affecting or impacting the health condition of our constituents? Because my common sense will say it is, no, because it's happening and it's cheaper. You know? So, but is it already being felt and detected by the DOH?
Sir, for manufactured cigarettes, that has been a decline from 94.4% to 88.6%. We're talking only here of manufactured cigarettes.
Is that smoking prevalence?
Yes, sir.
How do I interpret that data?
This is among smokers, Mr. Chair.
So
The
88
users of manufactured cigarettes.
users of manufacture, that's 88%?
From 94.4
In 20.
in 2018, 2019, 2023 decreased to 88.6
So 88.6 of what
of the smokers
use manufactured
of
cigarettes.
manufactured cigarettes.
Okay. But that doesn't explain the smoking prevalence or the amount of or the number of smokers among adults. Do we have that? Do you have any in-house surveys? Because if not, then we have no choice but to use proxies. My point of the matter there is may problema tayo ngayon eh, Yusek. Mayroong smuggled cigarettes in our country. Meron na bang epekto to mga constituents natin in terms of health? That's the simple question I want to, because 2021, the GATS 2021 is not enough because the intensity of smuggling happened after 2022. And it's increasing.
Sir, the percentage of currently smoking adults 20 to 59 years old by age group in 2021, that's 19%. In 2023, tumaas po siya sa 24.4.
That's a big thing.
So that's the prevalence, Mr. Chair.
Oh, what data is that? What data is that? FNRI?
FNRI, Mr. Chair.
So FNRI survey of smoking prevalence
Yes, Mr. Chair.
from 19 to 50. No, sorry, from 19 years old to
Old to 59 years old.
20 years old to 59 years old. So if you take that data as a proxy to GATS, tumaas yung smoking prevalence natin. Tama? 2021 is 19%. So in other words, if you ididikit, do you have?
Yes, sir. Correct po.
So ididikit-dikit ko lang ah. So if you look at the data from GATS from 2009, yan. Can you flash that? From 2009, 2015, 2021, 29 the smoking prevalence 29%, 23%, it went down to 19%. Tama? Yusek? And then if you connect this to the FNRI data, tumaas siya from 19% in 2021 to 24%.
Sir, itong study ng FNRI included vape products already, sir.
Included vape products. But vape products is small naman eh. I
Yeah.
would it's growing, but I would assume that the breakdown is small. But let's take it as it is for now. Do you have the breakdown for the 24%?
Sir, we do not have the breakdown at the moment.
Okay, just submit to us that survey and the breakdown. But let's take it as it is for now, so that we can have a very robust discussion today. So, do you agree that from 2021 to 2023, smoking prevalence as a whole has increased from 21% to 23%, 24%? Can you use the mic, Yusek?
Yes, based on the survey, Mr. Chair, yes.
But and later on we'll show it. If you look at the number of sticks being sold, it has gone down, at least the declared ones. No, I'll show that later on. So is this uptick from 21% to 24% due to illicit trade? Is that a possible phenomenon? Is that safe to conclude?
Sir, we cannot respond to that. We cannot say that, sir.
But can you analyze that, Yusek, as the vanguard and the protector of public health? Can the DOH analyze that? Because I'm concerned that the smoking prevalence is going up. If we are seeing that the legal cigarettes being sold is going down, I'll show that later on, and the excise tax being paid by legal cigarette manufacturers and companies is also going down, then why is smoking prevalence going up? Where is smoking coming from?
Sir, we assume that's coming from vape.
From vape. Okay. But can you also dissect that? Because that's not actually good, no? Diba, the phenomenon is from cigarettes they go to vape, but not increase the number of vape users, because that's what we want, to transition them into tobacco alternatives, but not increase the usage of tobacco alternatives.
Mr. Chair, as far as the DOH is concerned, we do not have a study as yet.
Okay. But again, no, let me strongly request from the DOH to look at this and study this phenomenon, because from the standpoint of this committee who's in charge of tax collection and revenue, revenue is going down, but smoking prevalence is going up. So where is it coming from? No? Because the intention is for the vape products is for people smoking to switch to vape products, but not to increase the usage of vape products. And the 3% jump is quite big. So if you're talking about 50 million adults, we're talking about close to about maybe 2 million 2 million to 2.5 million increase, more or less lang, more or less. No? So you have 2 to 3 million new smokers, whether it's vape or you're smoking illicit products. No?
We will make the study.
Yes, please study it carefully because we're now in the phase we're not achieving our health objectives. Again, the reason why we impose excise tax on vape products, on tobacco products, is so that we can have better health outcomes. No, but we're not. The better health outcomes have reversed from 19%. Now it's back to 24%, and the original is 29%. So we're only 5% away from the original baseline. So again, I'll request the DOH to take a look at that. Okay. Thank you. I'll jump to our private sector group. After hearing all of this discussion, I'm sure that our private sector have analyzed this thoroughly. They have conducted in-house independent researches so that we'll be guided accordingly.